Hey there. Have you ever felt like there's a voice inside you, whispering that you're not enough? A quiet, gnawing feeling that no matter what you do, you're somehow broken. It's heavy, isn't it? Like a shadow that follows you, even on your best days. What if I told you that voice isn't just in your head, it's a wound, born in childhood, that's been shaping your life in ways you might not even see? Stay with me, because we're about to dive into the dark truth of childhood shame and self-hatred, and uncover what it's really doing to you. That's the hook. Let's set this up. Shame isn't just a fleeting emotion. It's a deep, invisible force that can root itself in us. When we're young, when we're too small to understand what's happening. Maybe it was a parent who never praised you, or a teacher who made you feel stupid. Maybe it was being laughed at, ignored, or told you were too much. These moments don't just vanish. They sink into your bones, wiring you to believe you're flawed at your core. And here's the kicker. Most of us don't even realize it's there. We grow up, chase success, build relationships, but that shame? It's still running the show, quietly pulling strings behind the scenes. This matters because it's not just your story or mine, it's millions of people walking around, feeling like they don't deserve love, joy, or even a seat at the table. So let's unpack it, step by step, like we're sitting down with a coffee, having a real talk. All right, let's get into the first part of the core analysis. Where does this shame come from? It starts in childhood, when we're like sponges, soaking up everything around us. Our brains are wired to trust the adults in our lives, to believe what they say about us. If you grew up hearing, "You're too sensitive," or "Why can't you be more like your sister?" those words didn't just bounce off. They stuck. They became the foundation of how you see yourself. For me, it was my dad's silence. He never yelled, but he never really saw me either. I'd bring home a drawing, so proud, and he'd just nod, distracted. I started to think, maybe I'm not worth noticing. That's how it begins, small moments that pile up, teaching you to feel defective. But it's not always about what's said. Sometimes it's what's done. Maybe you had a parent who was unpredictable, one day loving, the next day cold. Or maybe you were bullied, and no one stepped in to help. Those experiences carve out emotional wounds, like little cuts that never fully heal. They teach you to hide parts of yourself, to shrink, to avoid being too much. And here's the science of it. When we're kids, our brains are still forming. Trauma or rejection in those years doesn't just hurt, it literally shapes how we process emotions and self-worth. It's like a glitch in the system, hardwired early on. Now, let's go deeper in part 2 of the core analysis. Shame doesn't just sit there, it grows. It becomes a lens you see the world through. And it builds these unconscious habits that keep you stuck. Think about it. Have you ever apologized for something that wasn't your fault? Or felt paralyzed when someone compliments you, like you don't deserve it? That's shame at work. It's sneaky. It creates what psychologists call emotional survival mechanisms. These are the ways we cope, without even knowing it. For example, some of us become perfectionists. If I can just be perfect, get the perfect job, the perfect body, the perfect life, maybe I'll finally feel worthy. But it's a trap. No matter how much you achieve, the shame whispers, it's not enough. Others go the opposite way, self-sabotage. You want to go for that promotion, but something stops you. You miss the deadline, or you don't even try. Deep down, shame convinces you that you'll fail anyway, so why bother? And then there's people pleasing. I used to bend over backwards to make everyone happy, saying yes to things I hated, just so no one would reject me. But it left me exhausted, resentful, and still feeling like I wasn't enough. These habits are like armor we put on to protect ourselves. But they end up trapping us. They're rooted in what shame taught us, that we're not lovable as we are. And the worst part, we don't even see it happening. It's like driving with a foggy windshield. You can't see the road clearly. But you keep going, hoping you won't crash. Okay, let's get practical. How does this shame show up in your daily life, and what can you do about it? First, notice the patterns. Do you avoid speaking up in meetings because you're scared of sounding dumb? Do you stay in relationships that drain you because you're afraid of being alone? These are signs. Shame makes you doubt your worth, so you settle for less than you deserve. Or maybe you're always comparing yourself to others scrolling Instagram, feeling like everyone else has it together. That's shame telling you you're behind. Here's a simple step to start healing. Catch the voice. When you hear that inner critic saying, "You're a failure," or "No one cares about you," pause. Don't fight it, but don't believe it either. Ask yourself, where did this come from? Maybe it sounds like your mom's voice, or a kid who teased you in school. Naming it takes away some of its power. Another tool is self-compassion. Try this. Next time you're beating yourself up, talk to yourself like you'd talk to a friend. If your best friend messed up, you wouldn't say, "You're such a loser." You'd say, "Hey, it's okay, you're human." Give that same kindness to yourself. It feels weird at first, but it's like rewiring your brain bit by bit. Another practical move is to set small boundaries. If you're a people pleaser, practice saying no to one thing this week. It doesn't have to be big, just say, "I can't make it," without over-explaining. It's a way of telling yourself, my needs matter. And if you can, try journaling. Write down a moment from childhood where you felt ashamed. What did you believe about yourself then? Then write a letter to that younger you, telling them they're enough. It sounds cheesy, but it's powerful. It's like reaching back in time to start healing that wound. Now, let's zoom out for some emotional and philosophical insight. What does this pain, this shame, and self-hatred tell us about being human? At its core, it's about our deep need to belong. We're wired for connection, for love, for being seen. When we're kids, we rely on others to mirror back our worth. If that mirror is cracked, if the people around us don't show us we're valuable, we start to believe the distortion. And that belief follows us, shaping how we love, work, and dream. But here's the beautiful part. This pain also shows us how resilient we are. Think about it. You've carried this weight, maybe for decades, and you're still here. You're still trying, still hoping, still showing up. That's not weakness. That's strength. And the fact that you feel this shame so deeply, it means you have a heart that cares, that longs for something real. Shame might tell you you're broken, but it's lying. You're not broken, you're human. And being human means you're allowed to mess up, to hurt, to heal, and to grow. There's something else here too. Healing from shame isn't just about fixing yourself. It's about reclaiming yourself. It's about saying, I'm allowed to take up space. I'm allowed to be messy, to be real, to be me. And when you start to do that, you give others permission to do the same. You become a light for someone else who's stuck in their own darkness. That's the ripple effect of healing. It's not just for you. It's for the world. So here we are, at the conclusion. I want to leave you with a question. What would your life look like if you believed, even just a little, that you're already enough? Not perfect, not flawless, but enough right now, as you are. What would you say yes to? What would you let go of? I'm not saying it's easy. Healing from shame is a journey, and it takes time. But you don't have to do it alone. Start small. Notice the voice. Be kind to yourself. Reach out to someone you trust. And if you're ready, take one tiny step today toward believing you deserve to be seen, to be loved, to be you. This is your story, and it's not over yet. What's the next chapter going to look like?